Well, that was so much to look for.
We're working on that.
Exactly.
I asked her, yeah. Yeah, well, they can be short, but.
Sandy, Helen Curtis, and a guy named Dave Simon.
Better be careful.
I find that it's like going down one person. The trail runs dry, but there's nothing else but the middle trunk. Because there's nothing there. The fact that there's nothing there means there's a problem. When you have someone that's 120 years old,
Every time I tried to
you know they're not going alive that age. They're still on the roll that shows them it's active because they're not voting. But there's 10 people that live in this little bitty house. So, you know, 2 bedroom, 1 bath, and you know that's bogus too.
It was another. So Susan's a realtor. She's helping us look up property. So that's helpful.
So what, but a lot of times can't it be a renter too?
Well, there's a lot of things out there, but I finally get to see if that person that was since 2004, if they actually own the house, then you know. I'm sure there's no conversation like that. But if I can see that they have he was talking about since 2004, and I wasn't paying attention. But sometimes I can really still own the house. And so all that stuff is that address is legitimate. But I don't have to question the address. They went home yesterday. I just now have to question. Why did they vote that year? Just start digging.
But the lady who gave it to him thinks she can order it for
And that's the thing. You know, we just figure out how to get on the same page so that we're not all trying to figure out.
Yeah.
You may do it a better way than me, or I may do it a better way than you. You may do it a better way than
He
me.
doesn't want to hear the instructions. I mean,
Yeah, because we don't want to waste our time.
It is very tough.
the top, put the batting line on the bottom, and it all. So he needs to learn that part. He knows that.
I'm good, man.
And he needs and he called me and look what I need to change. So I told him the next time I had to remember that you have the scenes.
That's,
It was huge.
Brain said a piece of
So thank you. I really had a great time. And then he was
I know. Is it he or they?
Sunday
Thou.
that's
She could have gone to Walmart. She goes and gets things, brings them back, puts them in, seals it up, and then they go like that. That's the weirdness about the handguns. They don't just go. They make everything.
All right, good afternoon. Welcome to this week's County Municipal Government Committee meeting. We'll continue our social experiment here, letting me try and run this meeting. But we're gonna shuffle some things around on the agenda, but we will call roll first.
Senator Albritton, Senator Carnley, Senator Chambliss, Senator Coleman, Senator Gudger, Senator Hatcher, Senator Kelly, Senator Coleman Madison, Senator Hovey,
Here.
Senator Elliott.
Here. All right. Thank you. We do have a quorum. We're going to jump down to House Bill 67. I just introduced it, so sorry.
No, that's it.
Representative Kiel, thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's good to see you all today. House Bill 67 is a bill dealing with the state voter roll. Currently, the cost is about $38,000 if you buy the whole voter roll. This would cap the total cost at $1,000. It would take phone numbers off the voter roll, which are there now, and also would preclude the voter roll from being used for commercial use.
Very good. Thank you, sir. We do have a public hearing and have some interested parties, so we'll just go down this list. Please keep in mind you've got 2 minutes per speaker, and we will interrupt if necessary. But the first speaker will be Ms. Becky Garrettson.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members. I'm Becky Garrettson. I'm the Executive Director of Eagle Forum of Alabama. Under current law, the Secretary of State already has full authority to reduce the cost of Alabama voter rolls, making HB 67 unnecessary. While we appreciate the lower price, it remains out of reach for most citizens and is still higher than in most states. But my greater concern, however, is the bill's language would prohibit voter verification organizations from publishing voter data. Voter verification and public research organizations use voter rolls to review accuracy, identify errors, and publish findings. However, vague language in the bill could prevent the publishing of lists and of findings. In the engrossed version, there are 3 ways a person or entity could get in trouble with this bill. The first 2 ways, quote, it shall be unlawful to sell or publish any portion of a voter list. And then it goes on to say, or use the voter data or information by the Secretary of State under this section for commercial purposes. That arrangement of wording indicates that selling or publishing is not necessarily tied to commercial use. Under this bill, publishing an Alabama voter list by voter integrity organizations, which is currently allowed, would be illegal. I was told this because someone might download a list from a voter verification website and use it for commercial purposes. But we have a solution. We urge this committee to add a simple amendment to strike the words "or publish" from line 99, or you could add voter verification and public research organizations to the exemptions under the commercial use provisions in this bill. It must be clarified that voter integrity organizations may continue to use their current lawful use of voter registration lists. What good is a cheaper list if it can't be verified? So please, don't pass this out of committee without one of these amendments. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next speaker, Ms. Suzanne Kohler, please.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members. My name is Suzanne Kohler from Huntsville. I volunteer full-time on election integrity, verifying Alabama's voter rolls. As my handout shows, this is my handout, we have nearly 3.8 million registered voters, often exceeding the number of eligible adults. Our work is made more difficult due to already limited public tools and data, especially in comparison to the rich data of other states. This bill was touted as bringing transparency, so let's be transparent. Last month, a Canadian was indicted for illegally voting 9 times in Alabama. Secretary Allen also announced that 25,000 registrants with no ID were on our voter rolls in 2024. How does that even happen? Voters languish on voter rolls for years. One student registered in 2001 at age 18, voted once in 2006, and is still on the voter roll 20 years later at her university address. Another voter registered in 2008 while renting from a county commissioner's home address. The renter never voted, yet he's still listed as active today, even though the commissioner confirmed the person has not lived there for 15 years. Right now, the public can easily find both of these disturbing cases using voteref.com, which is a verification site. But HB 67's publication ban would limit or end that type of public oversight and possibly open up legal liabilities for concerned citizens like me. Is it reasonable for 685 birthdays to change in a 3-month period? Oops, sorry.
Well, thank you for your time, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, our next speaker is Miss Susan Chapman. Chipman?
Thank you.
Forgive me?
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and committee. My name is Susan Chipman. I live in Huntsville. I'm here today respectfully to ask this committee to not pass the HB 67 as written. As a concerned citizen, I work toward election integrity in Alabama and other states. Only a small number of citizens engage in this work, not for personal gain, but for the good of Alabamians. They believe in the Constitution, civic duty, the right to free and fair elections. This is tedious work, and I would hope all elected officials would welcome their feedback and efforts. One of the most essential elements of fair elections is transparency, which requires access. In Alabama, access has been cost prohibitive for more than 8 years. Redactions and limited data fields further restrict legitimate civic participation. Compared to most other states, Alabama's system is one of the most opaque. Despite these barriers, citizens still participated through public service organizations such as VoteRef, True the Vote, and others, which provide information at no cost. Meanwhile, the Secretary of State's office collected thousands of dollars selling voter rolls to those who could afford them, not everyday citizens. HB 67 adds the word publish, which could expose these organizations to legal risk. These groups perform a public service and should not face legal harm. Current law already allows the Secretary of State to lower voter roll fees, which must be reasonable and uniform. HB 67 is not required to reduce the cost. Instead, it usurps current law, limiting flexibility for the future Secretary of State. This new law could remove or redact more information, reduce transparency, and place oversight organizations in legal jeopardy. Less transparency will lead to further doubt and trust in our elections. I urge the committee at a minimum to remove the word publish, which would address a major concern for the citizens working for oversight. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, we'll have Ted Hawley.
Hello, representatives and senators. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. I'm Ted Hawley. I live in Prattville, Alabama, and I too work on voter integrity. I personally have looked at these lists, and just in the little bit I've looked at, a list of 45,000 people, we have over 15 people that are 225 years old. 225. We have people that I know of that are moved out 4 to 6 years ago, still there. We have, we have more people that could possibly live in a house registered. Our voter rolls are jacked up. And I don't want to be Illinois. I don't want to be California. I want to be Alabama with accurate voter rolls. And though I do support the idea of lowering the price, which is great, but unless we keep the voters roll open so people and concerned citizens such as I and the others you've heard speak have access, what we're doing is we're muddying the water. We're going to find out we're going to be another California, we're going to be another Illinois, we're going to be another Georgia, where people are abusing our rolls, with ghost votes and so on and so forth. So anyway, as Becky Garrison said, I heartily agree with what she said. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And lastly, we'll have Miss Lori Herring.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm Lori Herring. I'm from Prattville, Alabama. HB 67, as Becky said, is unnecessary. The Secretary of State has the authority to set a reasonable administrative fee for the voter list. I don't think anyone would agree that $38,000 is a reasonable fee. There are 20 states that have a fee less than $50. And out of those 20, 11 charge nothing for their fees. As a free country with free elections, it is our responsibility, each one of us, to make sure that our voters' integrity is maintained and that our voter rolls are clean. We can't do that if you tie our hands. We can't do that if you take information away that lets us differentiate one voter from another. I urge this committee to pass the amendments as we've suggested and to help us to make our voter rolls clean. Thank you.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Thank you all. We will now close the public hearing, and I'll open the floor for any discussion here from the committee. Or Senator Kelly.
Thank you. Representative Kiel, there's been a number of conversations brought up about different factors and suggesting amendments. Do you foresee any amendments coming at this time?
We took 2 amendments on the House floor to clarify that if a voter wanted their telephone number to be on the voter roll, they could do that, so it would absolutely be on the voter roll. And so that was the main one. We also clarified what commercial purposes were, and so we took both of those amendments on the House floor.
Okay.
Senator Chambliss.
So, Representative Kiel, how would you respond to the public testimony that we had today?
Well, first of all, I think most of it's centered around commercial use. I think we all agree that we need to reduce the cost of the voter roll, that people need to be able to access the voter roll. However, when the voter roll is free, well, nothing's free. And so somebody's paying for it. So either the people who are accessing the information are going to pay for it, or everybody in the state's going to pay for it. And so this is a more reasonable number that allows it to be more readily available, much more readily available. And so you can pay up to $1,000 and get the voter roll. So I think it's much more accessible because of that. The commercial use issue, commercial use refers to monetization. Somebody's making money off of commercial use. And verification and oversight conducted in the public interest do not fall in that category and therefore do not require a written commercial use exemption. And so I wrote that so that I could say it the way I thought it. And so, I mean, people should not be profiting off of our voting process. That's the bottom line. So that's my response for that.
Sure. What about the published comment and the? I don't have any amendments here. I don't know if anybody does or not. But
Sure. Well, so if the intent is voter integrity, to be published is to make it publicly available. And so the definition of publish is to prepare and issue, like a book, a journal, a piece of music, for public sale or distribution. And so maybe we have an issue with the definition of publish between the two groups, but that is my definition of publish, and I think it's widely acceptable that is the definition. Now, if they're talking about buying it and using it internally within the group, that's not publicly making it available. It's not publishing it. That's internal use, and that is acceptable within the bill.
all right.
Right. Any other questions or comments? Senator Coleman Madison.
Thank you. There's a choice if a person wants their personal information public or not public. How is it done? Is this a checklist or, a check off or what?
You do. You would positively affirm that you want your information, your telephone number, public.
Okay.
That's telephone numbers only. So it
Right.
wouldn't publish your Social Security number, for instance.
I would hope not.
Yeah.
All right, do I have a motion? Senator Hatcher, a second. Senator Coleman Madison. We'll go ahead and get a roll call vote.
Mr. Chairman, if I may say, I'll vote to put it out of committee, but I still, and I think by and large it's a good bill. I do still have a couple of questions that I would like to work with the House or Senate sponsor or both between now and the floor.
Yeah, I think it's a fair point. It's hard for us to throw in an amendment here on the fly, but I think it's some good conversations and some further clarification on what published means versus commercial use.
Mr. Chairman, I'd also
Kelly.
like to kind of piggyback on Senator Chambliss. I think there was some good comments brought about a couple of words maybe need to be wordsmithed there. So I'll help you get it out of committee, but I think those need to be addressed before we hit the floor.
Sure.
Chairman Elliott?
I would just echo that. I mean, I'm kind of reading the room here, and I think you've got some colleagues that know you and trust your intentions, and I'm one of them. I think the will is going to be probably to get it out of committee, but you're going to have to. There's some furrowed brows around here, and we're going to have to chat a little bit more before we move on. Yeah, no, it's not just the age. Thank you.
Brows are all some of us have on top of the head there, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you all. Clerk, if we'll go ahead and call the roll.
Senator Albritton, Senator Carnley, Senator Chambliss, Senator Coleman, Senator Gudger, Senator Hatcher, Senator Kelly, Senator Coleman Madison, Senator Hovey, Senator Elliott.
Aye.
All right, 6-1. Your bill receives a favorable report. Thank you, Representative Kiel.
Thank you, chairmans and committee.
All right, we will, let's go back to the top. Senator Barfoot, SB 249.
Thank you, sir. Committee members, SB 249 is a fairly simple bill, piece of legislation that was brought to me by the Alabama Joint Fire Council, which is it consists of the Alabama Association of Fire Chiefs, the Alabama Association of Volunteer Fire Departments, Alabama Firefighters Association, Professional Firefighters Association of Alabama, Alabama Fire and College Personnel Standards Commission, Alabama Forestry Commission, and the Alabama Fire Marshal's Office. There's a request from them to increase.
We have a motion.
No furrowed brows.
We have a motion from Senator Hatcher, a second from Senator Kelly, forgive me, second from Carnley. But we have a question from Chairperson.
Are we goring anybody's ox here?
No, sir, not that I'm aware of. I've heard no opposition to it, and as I said, I've got something on the Alabama Joint Firefighter Council that just says they're in support of it.
That's just not data I keep in the front of my head, so I wanted to make sure that we weren't.
Understand, if I hear some opposition to it, it'll be the first.
Thanks.
All right, we'll go ahead and, any other questions? We'll use the previous roll if there are no objections. Changing Senator Carnley to an aye. Using previous roll. 7-0. Thank you, sir. Your bill gets a favorable report.
Thank y'all.
All right, Senate Bill 259, Senator Singleton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. In 2000, we passed the Omnibus Pay Act that governs the compensation between local officials for county commissioners, probate judge, sheriffs, tax assessors, tax collectors, revenue commissioners, license commissioners, and even assistant tax assessors or collectors. What this bill would do, this bill will provide that each of these local officials shall receive an annual compensation, an official receiving on May 31st of 2026. Under the existing law, the base compensation of any local official, elected official, or appointed by July 1st, 2025 should be the compensation of the immediate prior office holder. And basically what this says is it gives us a base salary, and if I'm in the tax assessor, I've been there 25 years, but I'm up to 90,000, but the base is 70,000. The person who's coming in will start at 70 and not at my 90. So we're making sure that those compensations being locked in. That's there for after May 31st, 2026.
All right, very good. We have an amendment. All right, we have an amendment offered by Senator Coleman Madison. A second by Senator Elliott.
What is the amendment?
You want to discuss your amendment?
This is to replace lines 169 through 172 on page 7. Notwithstanding this section or any other provision of this chapter, the increases in fees under section 12-19-90 provided by this Act 2000-108 shall not apply to any county.
Except as a friendly.
Yes, and this puts those counties that they had in there and inadvertently mistakenly took out, puts them back.
Okay. We accept that as a friendly amendment.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you both. All right, so we have an amendment and seconded. Do we have any other questions, Senator Carnley?
I have a question, and it may be for Sonny or Lauren back there, but I know when I was on the county commission, we passed a local bill, I think that reset those salaries. Just to clarify, is this going to kind of bring everybody under that same rule?
It may be addressed in the amendment that was added because technically they took it out. Jefferson, Madison, Montgomery, those counties were inadvertently taken out. So are you one of those?
Do you mind answering, or do you want to get them to answer? And it's just clarity. I just wanted to ask, because we did this because we had an issue, I think, with where we had a sheriff that resigned, or some came in, the person that was appointed said, well, I get their salary. And we were like, no, they had built up COLAs and other things to get to that. So we had to honor it with a new person, but we had to go back and pass local legislation to reset that. And that's basically what this bill is doing, but statewide.
Mr. Chairman? Yes, sir. 100%, that's one of the major things that caused this bill to be drafted.
Okay.
Is that this law's been in effect 25 years, and it's worked well, but it needed updating.
Okay.
For those kinds of issues.
All right, thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. We'll use the previous roll on the amendment if there are no questions or objections. All right, so the amendment has been added. Do we have any further questions on the bill as amended? We have a motion by Senator Coleman Madison. Do we have a second? Second by Hatcher. And we'll use the previous roll if there are no objections. All right, 7-0. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Committee.
Absolutely. All right. Last but not least, House Bill 214 by Representative Lomax.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, members. So House Bill 214 is a foreign national campaign contribution ban. It would essentially prohibit foreign nationals from directly or indirectly contributing to our Alabama campaigns, as well as constitutional amendments and ballot referendums. This mirrors up with the Federal Elections Commission laws, but we currently don't have a law in the books here in the state of Alabama. We're wanting to remedy that.
Move for adoption.
All right, we have a motion by Senator Kelly, with a second by Carnley. Any questions or comments or consternation? Then we'll move for favorable using the previous roll if there's no objections to that. Seeing none, so moved. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, committee. Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, sir. Senator Elliott.
Members, I think that's going to conclude our agenda for today, but I did want to introduce y'all to the members of the Spanish Fort Junior City Council who are with us today. So they just snuck in here at the end of the committee meeting. So if y'all stand up real quick, they're all from Spanish Fort and here today learning about what we're doing. Welcome, guys. Back to you, sir.
Well, if there is no further business, we will stand adjourned.
Good job.